Hi everyone, welcome to the Amplified Warm-Ups YouTube channel. My name is Peter Thompson. I've been a middle school band director for a long time, and my band just recently had a concert, and in this video I'd like to share some things that I use to help get my band really performance ready. I want to start at the end of the process and work backwards from there. So one of the things that I do in the last week or two before a concert is I start recording all of our rehearsals and then going back and listening to them and making a list of all the things that I'd like to have students improve. And what I do is have them mark some things in their music. So often it's always more than what we can address in rehearsal. So the more that I can give them to write in their music and fix themselves, it saves a lot of time and makes for a big improvement. So as I make the list, I put it in a spreadsheet form where I have a column for the piece and then a column for each instrument group so students can quickly find which comments apply to their instrument, the measure number that I'm talking about, and then what I would like to have them write in the music. Sometimes I add a little bit more to it, and then I just put in quotation marks what they should actually mark in their music. My students have kind of a love-hate relationship with these lists. Like, they don't like getting another list of things that they need to do better on, but they know that they do make a lot of improvement when we add those things to the music. And sometimes I'll have students come in and arrive at rehearsal early. They always start digging in, looking through that list and marking through their music because they're eager to improve. They know it's going to make them better, and it's been a good system for us overall. You can find an example of our most recent Fix-It lists linked in the description below, so you can check that out. You can adapt it. It's a system that I've tried different things. This is kind of where I landed. I think this is going to work really well for my group. So we do that probably about 3 times before a concert. And it's not every day. It's maybe every 2 or 3 days that I give them a new list of things to mark in their music. Now, to set that up, there are a couple things that we need to do. So what we did earlier this year was I gave students a worksheet as an exercise to try to help them understand what they need to do to mark their music effectively. Because often when we tell students to mark things in their music, and then you look at how they marked it, they might circle a note, they might write something that you really can't read, they might mark something after a note so they see it too late. And so we just did an exercise that I will also link below, and it just showed them this is how you should mark it. I had them practice writing flats, writing sharps, writing natural symbols, and then going through an example of music and practicing how do we want to notate releases, what's our nomenclature for no breath, that kind of thing. Teaching them how to effectively mark their music is a big step that we can't really take for granted. The other thing that we need to do to set up students for success at the end of the process is something that I've talked about before, and that is I'd like to just divide the concert cycle into 3 different phases. And we have the recognition phase followed by repetition and then finally refinement. And what this does is it gives clarity and purpose to each rehearsal that we have, instead of just floating along for the first part of the concert prep cycle, then realizing that concert is coming and then we start to kick it into gear. This has a specific purpose for every rehearsal. So the first couple weeks, we're focusing on just recognizing all the challenges in the music. What are all the things that we need to know in order to perform this music really well? So it's getting into some really fine details about the piece. So not only where the key signature notes, what are any fingerings that we don't know, alternate fingerings, trill fingerings, what are the percussion stickings that are going to require a little bit of thought and attention to. Just all sorts of little techniques that we need to pay attention to. And then once we get through that phase, then we get into repetition, where we're just building the skills that we need to be able to perform the piece. And throughout both of these phases, there's a huge premium on accuracy. So we will go as slow as we need to go, but we've got to make sure, even on those first couple weeks, if we're missing notes, key signature notes, we're going to stop and mark those every time. So note accuracy, rhythm accuracy, and also accuracy with articulations. We need to make sure we're tonguing and slurring at the right place and going about that the right way. So we'll go as slow as we need to go as we're building the skill. And then finally, as we get closer to the end, then we'll start talking about the finer points of balance and intonation and just the refining things that we need to do to get really performance ready. Hey, if you would, please give this video a like and subscribe. Also, if you'd like to learn a little bit more, I have a free PDF guide called Developing Your Band with Amplified Warm-Ups, and you can get that at amplifiedwarmups.com/guide. Now, at the beginning of the process, and this is something that actually goes all throughout the preparation, is that we need to be building on our fundamentals, and we need to be working in a fundamental way towards meeting the challenges that the music is going to present. So have we defined what's important? In my band, my students know that the most important thing is tone, slash intonation, and they go together. But tone and pitch is something that they know is important. We need to apply that in all of our playing, and it's something that we make a daily investment in. We start with our warm-up, which is amplified warm-ups. It's a system that I created to not only give students that daily fundamental work, but also make the first part of rehearsal really streamlined and easy. They use that automated system, which also has built-in drones and built-in tempo tracks that keep the students focused on time and pitch and really makes the first part of rehearsal productive. So you can check that out at amplifiedwarmups.com. That's the system that our students have used since 6th grade. My students are now in 8th grade, so they're really in the flow of using that, and it works really smoothly for our bands. The other thing we need to do is look ahead at the challenges in our music and making sure that we're working our fundamentals towards those challenges. For example, right now, my band, they're going to need to articulate really cleanly with staccato things for one of the pieces that we're doing. So we're focusing on our articulation exercises with staccato, and really simple, just concert F, just playing quarter notes, staccato, make sure they're ending the right way. And then we build speed up to and beyond what we'll need for performance tempo. We're also working on concert D major, and we have a book that we use called Tuned In. It's by Brian Ball-Majors and Robert Herrings. We're working on concert D major. It's not a key that bands necessarily play accurately in, or a key that's easy to sound good in. So that's why we every day this week we were just working concert D major, make sure we're getting those pitches correct, and also so students are aware of which notes they really need to listen for. So I had them on tuners the last couple of days, so they're really watching like that concert G. Once we get up to concert B and concert C sharp, those are notes that we really need to listen and really get those notes sounding good, so that when we have those at the end of one of our pieces, they're going to sound good and they have the skill that we need to do. So that's also really important at the beginning of the process. To get your band performance ready, you need to have a really clear approach on fundamentals, and you need to look ahead. What are the fundamentals that we really need to focus on building so we can sound good when we get to the end of the process and we're ready to put everything together? So I hope some of these things were really helpful. These are systems that I've started using within the last couple of years, and they've been really effective. We've been having not only really good performances, but really just really good rehearsals. Like, I try not to put too much pressure on the performance itself, because that's just a snapshot. But what's really important to the band as they're formed moving forward is, are we getting the process right? And these are things that have really helped to focus the process and make it quality every time. So I hope some of these things were helpful for you. Reach out and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you soon.